Okay, so you're getting ready for an assistive technologist interview.
Exciting.
That means you're going to be working in a field where tech really helps people with disabilities.
Yeah,
And we've got all the RoleCatcher resources to help you really stand out in that interview.
exactly.
You can think of this deep dive as your own personal interview prep.
Yeah, we'll go through the role itself and break down some of those tough interview questions.
Right.
And then we'll give you some insider tips from people in the field.
Perfect.
Plus, we'll show you how RoleCatcher's AI can give you a real advantage.
It's like having a secret weapon for interview success.
Exactly.
So let's start with the basics. What does an assistive technologist do?
So imagine someone with a visual impairment needs to access the internet.
Yeah.
That's where the assistive technologist comes in.
Uh-huh.
They might recommend things like screen readers or voice recognition software or even tactile displays.
Wow.
And it's all tailored to that individual's needs.
So it's about finding the right technology to bridge the gap and unlock possibilities.
Precisely.
Awesome.
And it's not just about the gadgets, It's
Right.
about doing assessments
Yeah.
and training and collaborating with families and educators
Of course.
and having a deep understanding of each person's unique challenges and goals.
Okay, so let's jump right into interview prep.
Let's do it.
The RoleCatcher Interview Guide has 10 common questions.
Okay.
I think going through those would be super helpful.
Definitely.
The first one's a classic. What interested you in becoming an assistive technologist?
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone answering that?
This is really your chance to tell your story
Okay.
and to show the interviewers why you're passionate about this.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a personal connection to disability or you've seen how assistive technology can transform lives.
Right. You can't just say, I like helping people.
Right.
You really have to make them feel your passion
Exactly.
and help them understand what drives you.
Yeah, think about what first sparked that interest.
Okay.
Was there a specific moment or experience that made you realize this was the path for you?
Yeah.
If you can bring that to life, your answer will be a lot more memorable.
And RoleCatcher can actually analyze the specific job description and then suggest ways to tailor your answer
Exactly.
to highlight the skills they're looking for. Right?
Yes. RoleCatcher's AI can identify keywords and phrases in the job posting
Okay.
and suggest ways to weave them into your responses.
Wow.
So you're hitting all the right notes.
That's amazing. Okay, moving on to question 3. How do you stay up to date with the latest assistive technology advancements?
Yeah.
This one feels pretty important,
It is.
especially in such a fast-paced field.
Definitely, you want to show that you're a lifelong learner,
Right.
always on top of the latest trends and innovations.
Uh-huh.
Think about conferences, workshops, webinars, publications you follow.
Right. If you mention specific organizations or websites you follow, that shows you're really active in the field.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
And don't forget about networking,
Right.
connecting with other professionals.
Yeah.
Through online communities or social media can be really helpful for staying informed.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Question 8 tackles a tougher scenario. Can you share an example of a difficult client interaction and how you handled it? This one feels like it needs some careful thought.
It does.
They want to see how you solve problems
Right.
and how you handle tricky situations professionally.
Yeah. You want to choose an example where you faced a real obstacle,
Okay.
but also one where you can show off your strength.
So maybe a situation where there was a communication breakdown
Yeah,
or a disagreement about the best way to do something.
exactly.
Okay.
Then focus on the steps you took to
Yeah.
understand the client's perspective,
Right.
how you stayed calm and empathetic,
Yeah.
and ultimately how you reached a resolution.
And maybe highlight any lessons you learned from that experience. It shows you're always reflecting and trying to improve.
Excellent point. And RoleCatcher can actually give you feedback on your answers to these behavioral questions.
Really?
Yeah, it helps you refine your delivery
Okay.
and make sure you're presenting yourself in the best light.
Wow. So it's like having a virtual coach guiding you through the whole interview process.
Exactly. It analyzes your responses for clarity, conciseness, and relevance.
Okay.
It gives you that extra confidence boost.
All right, let's tackle one more question before we move on.
Okay.
Question 5. Can you walk us through a recent project you worked on and the outcomes achieved?
Yeah,
This is your chance to really show off your skills.
absolutely. Choose a project that lines up well with the job you're interviewing for
Okay.
and be ready to describe it in detail.
So if the job description emphasizes experience with a certain type of assistive technology or working with a particular group of clients,
Yeah.
choose a project that highlights those areas.
Exactly. Think about the goals, the challenges, the solutions,
Yeah.
and most importantly, the results.
Right, because they want to see proof of what you can do
Exactly.
and the impact you've made.
Precisely. And don't be afraid to use numbers to show what you've accomplished.
Okay.
Did you increase client satisfaction? Did you improve accessibility?
Yeah.
Numbers can be really powerful.
And this is another area where RoleCatcher can help, right?
Yes. RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your CV
Okay.
and suggest projects that are most relevant to the job to
Uh-huh.
make sure you're showing off your expertise.
This is amazing. You're not just going into this interview prepared. You're going in with a real advantage.
You are. It really is. But remember, even with the best tools, it's your passion and knowledge that will really make you stand out.
Absolutely.
So let's go on to question 4.
Okay.
This one asks, how do you approach working with clients with varying levels of abilities and disabilities?
This one seems to get at the core of being an assistive technologist.
Yeah.
Understanding everyone's needs
Mhm.
and finding the right solutions for each person.
Exactly. You want to show that you can conduct thorough assessments
Uh-huh.
and build relationships with clients
Definitely.
and work with them to find the best solutions.
So it's not just about being a tech expert.
Right.
You also need to be a good communicator
Yeah,
and a compassionate advocate.
absolutely. You might mention specific strategies you use to communicate effectively,
Right.
like with clients who have different communication styles or preferences.
And maybe highlight your experience working with a variety of disabilities.
Yes, showing you're comfortable working with people with different needs will definitely make a good impression.
Okay.
Let's move on to question 6.
All right.
It focuses on accessibility.
Okay.
How do you ensure that assistive technology solutions are accessible and usable for individuals with disabilities?
This question feels super relevant,
Yeah.
especially with all the focus on digital accessibility these days.
It is, and it's your chance to show that you're not just focused on using the technology, but that you're also making sure it's inclusive and easy to use.
So beyond mentioning things like WCAG guidelines, what kind of specific examples could you give?
You could talk about how you conduct usability testing with clients, how you get their feedback,
Yeah.
and make changes based on what they say.
So it's about showing that you're dedicated to creating solutions that work well and are enjoyable to use.
Exactly.
Wow.
You could also mention specific accessibility features you know about,
Okay.
whether it's built-in software or special hardware adaptations.
Right. Showing that you have that deeper knowledge will really impress them.
Yes, it will.
Question 7 is about teamwork.
Okay.
How do you approach working with interdisciplinary teams to provide holistic solutions for clients?
Yeah.
This seems to be a recurring theme in these questions.
And for a good reason, assistive technology is rarely a one-person job.
Right.
You're often going to be working with educators, therapists, families, other professionals
Right.
to create a full support plan for your clients.
So it's about working well with others
Exactly.
and respecting everyone's expertise
Right.
and being a good communicator.
Exactly. You might want to share a specific example
Okay.
of time when you successfully worked with a team to help a client.
That's a great idea. A real example always makes your answer stronger and more memorable.
It does.
Speaking of memorable, I was really impressed with RoleCatcher's video practice tool.
Yes, that's a great feature.
Yeah.
It lets you record yourself answering interview questions
Uh-huh.
and then get feedback powered by AI
Okay.
on how you deliver your answers, your body language, and even the content of what you're saying.
It's like having a virtual mock interview,
It is?
which can really boost your confidence and
Yeah,
help you fine-tune your presentation.
definitely.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the bigger picture,
Okay.
the career path of an assistive technologist.
All right.
The RoleCatcher Career Guide has some good information on this.
Yeah.
What are some key takeaways for someone thinking about this as a long-term career?
Well, first off, it's a growing field with a lot of potential.
Okay.
As technology gets better and more people are aware of accessibility needs,
Yeah,
the demand for assistive technologists is only going to increase.
that's great to hear.
It is.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics says there will be a 10% growth for rehabilitation counselors,
Uh-huh.
which includes assistive technologists.
Right.
And that's from 2019 to 2029.
Exactly. And that growth means there will be a lot of different career paths and opportunities to specialize.
Okay.
You could focus on a specific type of assistive technology
Uh-huh.
or work with a certain population
Right.
or even move into management or research.
It sounds like there's a lot of room to grow and develop in this field.
Absolutely. But it's important to remember the challenges too.
Yeah.
The work can be emotionally tough
Okay.
and you have to constantly be learning and staying up to date.
That makes sense.
Yeah. You're working with people who are facing real difficulties,
Right.
and the technology is always changing.
But I imagine the rewards are pretty amazing.
There's a real feeling of satisfaction knowing you're making a difference in people's lives,
Yeah.
helping someone become more independent or get access to education
Right.
or just be more involved in the world around them.
Yeah.
That's incredibly rewarding.
And speaking of making a difference, let's get back to those interview questions.
Okay.
We have a few more to cover,
Yeah.
and I think they'll give us even more insight into this career.
Okay, let's get back to those interview questions.
Sound good?
Question 9 asks, describe a time when you had to advocate for a client's assistive technology needs.
Okay.
Advocacy is a big part of this role.
It seems like it, yeah.
You're often dealing with systems
Uh-huh.
and structures that aren't designed with accessibility in mind.
Right.
So this question is really testing your ability
Yeah.
to navigate those complexities
Right.
and really fight for your client's needs.
So how can someone show off those advocacy skills in their answer?
Think about a specific time
Okay.
when you had to push for something.
Funding for a device,
Yeah.
access to a program,
Okay.
or even raising awareness about a barrier.
Okay.
And talk about the steps you took, the
Yeah.
challenges you faced,
Yeah.
and the outcome you achieved.
And don't be afraid to talk about the emotional side of advocacy.
Exactly.
It's about passion and persistence.
Right.
And really wanting to make sure everyone has equal opportunities.
It's about going beyond just the technical stuff
Yeah.
and fighting for what's right.
Okay, before we finish up,
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on question 10.
Okay.
How do you prioritize competing demands and ensure projects are delivered on time and within budget?
Ah, the classic project management question.
Right.
This is really important in this field
Yeah.
because you're often juggling a lot of things.
Right.
Clients,
Wait.
technologies, and deadlines.
So what's the key to answering this one well?
Structure and clarity.
Okay.
Talk about how you stay organized.
Uh-huh.
Maybe you use project management tools.
Or prioritize tasks based on what's most urgent.
Okay.
Or break down big projects into smaller steps.
Good point.
And of course, communication is so important.
Right. Keeping everyone in the loop is essential.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Talk about how you communicate with clients,
Okay.
team members, stakeholders,
Yeah.
to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Okay.
You could even mention strategies for managing expectations and avoiding problems.
Those are all great points.
Yeah,
We've really been digging into these interview questions
we have.
because we want you to feel prepared and confident for
Yeah,
this next step in your career.
absolutely.
But before we wrap up, I want to remind you about RoleCatcher.
Yes, it's such a valuable resource for anyone looking for a job or going through interviews.
RoleCatcher's AI can do so much.
It can?
It can analyze job descriptions, tailor your CV,
Yeah,
highlight relevant skills,
right.
and even give you feedback on your interview answers,
Exactly.
all to help you land that dream job as an assistive technologist.
It's like having a personal career coach right there in your pocket,
Awesome.
guiding you every step of the way.
So as you go into that interview,
Yeah.
remember why you're passionate about this.
Right.
You're not just applying for a job.
No.
You're starting a journey to make a real difference in people's lives.
And as technology keeps advancing, the role of the assistive technologist will only become more crucial.
Yeah.
So embrace the challenges, celebrate the wins, and never stop learning.
I love that.
The future of accessibility is in your hands.
That's a great way to put it.
Thanks.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the world of the assistive technologist.
It does.
Best of luck with your interview.
Yes, good luck.
We know you're going to do great.